let's keep moving to the about the property. After the property is prepared and meets code, what is the next step in the process? What are the codes and regulations before leasing the property? What administrative tasks you have to do? How do you go into that process?
Well, once the property meets codes and we've agreed to manage the property, the first step is to get all of our administrative work done, get the property uploaded into our system so that we can actually start marketing the property. And that's the next step, is to get the property to a point and get all of the things that we need done to market the property and start the search for a tenant.
Right. So that process of marketing and searching for the tenant, what systems do you use?
Well, I mean, we use a lot of proprietary software systems. Some are available to any landlords out there, some that we've developed on our own. And really the software is designed to make the property manager's job easier, streamline the process, allows the tenant to go in and pay rent, allows the tenant to submit maintenance requests if required. It allows the owners as well. They'll have their own portal and they can check on all the information. We also use, software and programs in the screening process. We do background checks. We do criminal history checks again. We do all of those things, credit checks. So yeah, there's just a lot of systems and software involved with getting the property ready to rent, and in the process of screening and reviewing applicants as well. That's where the bulk of the work, I think, comes in, is in the screening process.
Right. When you're a landlord and you are entering the rental business, they say that is 50% selecting the right property and 50% selecting the right tenant. How do you see that?
I would probably say, just from past experience, that I would lean more towards it's more important to pick the right tenant. And I say that because when I first started managing properties, anybody that came along that was willing to pay the rent and pay the deposit, I would let move into the property. And I did a very light, I'd call it, background check and, criminal history check and employment verification. And more than once, I had people in my properties, less than 6 months, that would come into the property, tear up the property, and move out of the property within 6 months. And I'd have to spend thousands of dollars getting the property ready for the next tenants, and all because I didn't do a proper screening of the tenant. I didn't verify that they could afford the rent. I didn't verify that they'd had a good rental history. So yeah, I just allowed, again, anybody that was willing to pay the rent for the first month, I would let them move into the property, and then had to learn the eviction process, had to learn some of the things that I should have learned before I started renting properties. So yeah, I would lean more towards it's more important to find the right tenant.
And you find the right tenant by having the right processes, by having a good legal team and a good administrative tasks that need to be completed before finalizing the lease agreement. What are those key things that you need to complete before leasing the property?
Well, first we set up pretty strict guidelines on what we require for someone to be qualified. And we make that information available to everyone before they even apply. I don't want people to apply that aren't qualified. In short, I guess I want them to pre-qualify themselves. So when they go to my website and they look to fill out the application, they're going to see a list of requirements. You're not going to be qualified if you don't have this amount of income. You're not going to be qualified if you owe another property management company, past due rent or things like that. You're not going to be qualified if, and we list all those things out. So they're going to know all of that information going in. But and we have requirements around income. They need to have at least 3 times the monthly rent for income. And we verify the income through pay stubs, through third-party vendors that actually prove and verify bank deposits every month, how much money is going into their accounts, how much money is coming out of their accounts. We do credit checks, and we cross-check the information. More than once, I've had people tell me they work somewhere that they don't have pay stubs for, and their credit report shows that they work somewhere else, and they shows a different income. So we have to verify all the information that's provided to us as well. But it's the income, it's the length of time at their job, and it's their criminal history that we verify as well, and background checks. And if they have pets, we even screen the pets. Do the pets, are they curled on their shots? What's the breed of the animal? What's the weight? Has it been spayed or neutered, declawed? All of those things. We screen the pets as well as we do the actual applicants. And we screen every applicant that's 18 or over for every property that we lease.
Do you screen only the main applicant, or do you screen all the people that are going to live in the house, all the tenants?
We screen all of the tenants that are 18 years old or older. We actually asked for the information for all of the tenants, but we obviously can't screen anyone that's under 18. But everyone that's 18 or older, we do the full background check, and they pay the application fee, and we run the full check on them: credit, background, criminal history, employment verification, everything.
That is very nice. How do you handle the security deposits? Now that you have the tenant, and how do you handle those security deposits and other financial aspects of the transaction?
In the property management world, security deposits is where a lot of people actually run into problems because they don't properly handle those security deposits. They think, oh, that's my money, I can do whatever I want with it. When in reality, the security deposit belongs to the actual tenant. So once they've paid a security deposit, that goes into a separate bank account, trust account that's only for security deposits. We don't ever touch that money unless there's damage that the tenant has caused to the property, or upon move out. We'll do a move out inspection once they move out of the property, and if there's damage that they've done beyond normal wear and tear, we'll deduct that from their security deposit and then refund the rest to them.
Very good. What are measures can be taken to ensure a smooth transition for the tenant moving into the property?
We spend a lot of time, and I take a lot of pride in the move-in process. We've created a new tenant handbook that details, what we require from them, what they can expect from us, and we also walk through the property with them. We'll show them where the air conditioning filters are and how to change them. We'll show them where the smoke detectors are and if and when to change smoke detector batteries if they need to. We show them where all the emergency cutoff valves are for the water. If a toilet leaks, for instance, they don't need to run to the street and shut off the water to the entire house. Typically, they can just turn off a valve there at the toilet or under the sink or whatever. We verify that if any emergency that we can think of comes up, we'll know how to handle it. One of the properties that I started managing about a year or so ago, the owner contacted me because the tenants, she had to replace $7,000 worth of hardwood floors because the tenants didn't notify her of a water heater leak. The water heater had been leaking in the property for about a week before they notified the owner that there was a problem. And at that point, all of the hardwoods in the entire house were ruined. Water and wood is just not a good mix. And so she had to spend a lot of time and a lot of money replacing those hardwood floors. And she contacted me to start managing the property moving forward. And there are ways to mitigate those kinds of issues. It should have never happened. And if it did happen, the owner should have never been responsible to fix it, because it was tenant neglect that caused all the extra expense and damage. So